Mercedes are really promising a lot with the W15, and we're going to see very soon if they can deliver the promise with the testing about to begin in Bahrain. It does seem like they sorted out one of the biggest issues for which even Hamilton complained, but what's more important here is that Russell now has a massive opportunity which he should not miss, or it could even mean a demotion in his F1 career. How important is this season for the younger of the two British drivers in the Silver Arrows, and could it shape his career moving forward? The first impressions coming out of Brackley this year compared to last year are connected to the approach the team is making. It's no secret that Hamilton must have felt that Mercedes are not going in the right direction for him to decide to move away from the team in 2025 and join Ferrari. So, of course, this would be his last car. Would one thing that the W15 will be as good as it can be, or as good as the possibilities allow in Brackley? Sure, but how would that translate onto the track in terms of how relevant the Silver Arrows will be this season? Because you can be P2 and improve a lot, but stay in P2 if the team in front of you also improves. We talked about this on the channel in one of our previous videos, but seeing how Wolff didn't mention the world title when asked about what his goals are for the season, it does seem like Mercedes are taking a somewhat less of an optimistic approach this year compared to last ones where they talked big but failed to deliver. So this year we have a sort of an under-promise and hope to over-deliver approach. So that will be quite interesting to see. During their demonstration of the car, they were rather conservative, as we saw in the photos, and they chose not to reveal more than their intended portion of the car, possibly even relying on misleading renders, which indicates Mercedes' strategy of managing expectations and keeping certain aspects of the vehicle undisclosed. What is interesting, however, is that one thing that's definitely changed is the cockpit position, one of the main things that bothered Hamilton last year. And while he had endured the tricky rear of the W14 that left him lacking confidence at times, he was also not happy last year with the seating position. Mercedes' departure from its previous zero pod design to a downwash style solution likely facilitated this cockpit repositioning. The need for deep recesses in the chassis to bring the radiators closer to the car's centerline is diminished with this new approach. Moreover, this alteration enables the team to expand the fuel tank horizontally along the chassis, resulting in its overall reduction in length. Last year, Hamilton talked a lot about his position within the car, feeling uncomfortably far forward, and this was a common sentiment among drivers, including Russell, who also found themselves positioned more forward in comparison to previous car designs. Hamilton's discomfort came from feeling disconnected from the rear of the car, hindering his ability to measure its behaviour, and this impacted his confidence on track. James Allison acknowledged this concern, suggesting that while Hamilton's observation holds some merit, a stronger rear-end grip would mitigate the issue. Addressing this feedback, Mercedes has taken steps to rectify the situation by relocating the cockpit approximately 10 centimeters further back, aiming to strike a better balance between driver comfort and car performance. Lewis's way of expressing that is in talking about his seating position. George doesn't ever talk about his seating position, but he describes exactly the same ugliness to the car, he said at the end of last year. If we could fix that instability properly, the only part of Lewis' seating position that he would still dislike is that he sees a bit less of the corner apex because he's a bit nearer the tyre than if he was a bit further back. But the actual seating position itself is not giving rise to the perceptual issue that makes it hard for him to detect how to handle the car. Possibly if he was sitting exactly where he wanted, he might be able to drive a truculent thing with slightly more precision. But the issue there is get rid of the truculent thing, not optimize his seating position to handle something that isn't good. Our focus has been on making it less horrid, and I would say that the Austin upgrade last year was a mild step forward in that regard, and with a bit of luck, the 2024 car will bring a load more. The cockpit position in the Mercedes is still anticipated to be more forward than that of Red Bull's design, but this decision perfectly reflects Mercedes' design philosophy, which prioritizes optimizing the rear suspension Hamilton for improved performance, and while this adjustment may lead to Hamilton feeling more satisfied than before, it appears that the cockpit hasn't been moved as far back as it could have been, which raises questions in Hamilton's mind about whether his feedback is truly being taken into account. Talking about other factors, one of them being Russell, we need to talk about how massive of an opportunity he has this season. I believe he would be one of the happiest guys in the team that Hamilton will be leaving, as it gives him the opportunity of his career. Since joining Mercedes, the 25-year-old aspired to establish himself as the team's leading figure once Hamilton retired, a scenario that seemed plausible for 2024 until Hamilton's recent contract extension with Mercedes. With Hamilton's departure on the horizon, Russell now sees a chance to assert himself while competing against the seasoned champion, positioning himself as the focal point for Mercedes in 2025, because Russell's potential as a driver hovers on the brink of greatness, yet uncertainty looms over whether he'll realise his full potential or fall short of expectations. A failure to reach the peak of success would categorise him among drivers who achieve respectable results with occasional race wins and the possibility of securing a championship with favourable conditions. However, true serial winners remain in a league of their own. Reflecting on last season, it could be argued that 2023 was Russell's least impressive year in Formula One since his debut in 2019, considering his experience, anticipated performance and opportunities, and despite displaying impressive pace, the results failed to materialise, leading Russell to describe the season as having dreadful outcomes. Russell's statement that his pace remained strong is supported by the minimal difference in qualifying performances between himself and Hamilton, with Russell narrowly edging ahead by an average of 0.018 seconds in 2023 compared to trailing by 0.012 seconds the previous season. Nevertheless, Hamilton emerged as the more consistent performer for Mercedes throughout the year. Over the course of their 2-year tenure as teammates, there hasn't been a definitive victor between Hamilton and Russell. While Hamilton has shown a slight edge, it falls short of a clear-cut domination in their intra-team rivalry, and this speaks volumes when it comes to Russell's capabilities, considering that most Formula One drivers would have likely been overshadowed by Hamilton's stature. The fluctuating performance and unpredictable behaviour of the Mercedes car introduce considerable noise into any data analysis, making it challenging to draw definitive conclusions from their teammate comparison, and because of this, the verdict on their rivalry is still undecided, with the outcome potentially influenced by their third and final season together at Mercedes this year. Russell's trajectory could still go either way in terms of achieving greatness, but Hamilton's impending departure increases the likelihood that this season could be the one where Russell establishes himself as the heir to Hamilton's legacy at Mercedes. And while the idea that Toto Wolff could simply orchestrate Russell's ascension and Hamilton's downfall is overly simplistic, there will undoubtedly be a shift in the team dynamics that presents Russell with a significant opportunity to assert himself. According to reports, Mercedes has its sights set on its protege, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, for a potential swift promotion to Formula One if his rookie season in Formula 2 unfolds as anticipated, which would immediately introduce a long-term contender to challenge George Russell's aspirations of becoming the team's primary driver. Considering the alternative option of Fernando Alonso, with his proven track record, it's clear that Mercedes wouldn't want to gamble on an uncertain prospect following an underwhelming season. Now, Russell faces the imperative task of pulling all the pieces together and realizing the potential that has long been attributed to him. And while mistakes are inevitable, Russell must strive to minimize them. If Russell can rise to the occasion, he'll earn the unwavering confidence of the team, with the assurance that, given a competitive car, he possesses the capability to clinch the World Championship, which will in turn present a desired opportunity that honestly every driver wants. Now it's up to Russell to demonstrate his capacity for greatness rather than settling for being merely very good. What do you think? Will Russell excel this year with Hamilton at the exit door, or will we see a mediocre season again? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.